fastest by far. So that was when we saw 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧 injecting some pace.
Well, that would explain it then.
And the chasing pack were
62.27 at 19k. So they've got the last 3 kilometers been 3:11, then a 3:23, and then that 3:05. Yes, the Ethiopians absolutely knew what was going on. 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧 and 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧 accelerating dramatically just to expose, or rather rub salt into the wounds of the damage done in time terms by 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢� stepping off the course. Not only did she lose time because of having to make a toilet break, but the big acceleration from them will have lengthened that gap. Korea has gone with the 2 Ethiopians. 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧, by the way, we're hearing, has not gone through the 19-kilometer point. I'm beginning to wonder, Mara, whether that is her race done.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And this leading group have even dropped to... Meanwhile, Salpeter, 𝐏𝐿𝐷 and 𝐏𝐵𝐿, I think, are making chase. Yep, those 3 athletes now chasing this leading group.
Well, can it be double goal for the Ethiopians after yesterday's terrific run by Tola? 𝐏𝐵𝐿 and 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧 through 20k, 65.36. So that is, what, a 3:09?
A 3:09, yep.
That 20th kilometre. They've gone 3:05, 3:09. Those are the 2 quickest kilometres of the race so far. There was a 3:10 through 5k. There was a 3:10 through 15k, but 3:05 and 3:09. They are rocketing around the middle section of this second lap. And Tanui and 𝐏𝐿𝐷 and Salpeter have had to let go, and that is a statement in itself. Salpeter, so consistent, such a great racer, has had to let them go mid-race.
And the 5k split, Tim, from 15 to 20k was 16:08, which is the fastest so far. The first 5k was 16:10.
16:10, 16:29. What was the third 5k?
16:50.
16:50. That was a real slowing, wasn't it? But
yeah.
16:08. Boy. So let's have a look at these splits then. 𝐏𝐵𝐿, 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧 and Korea are the lead group. Tanui 3 seconds down. 𝐏𝐿𝐷 10 seconds down in 5th place. Salpeter with her. 𝐏𝐵𝐿 a couple of seconds back. Then back to the second group. But the gaps are huge. That's what? 51 seconds between 𝐏𝐵𝐿 and 𝐵irseki. 𝐵irseki, of course, running with Hall and Bates and Tomato, that US trio. But they are over 50 seconds back from the back end of the leading 7. And the chase group, of course, cannot now see the leading group. Mark Coogan, you're out there. Have you seen any sign of 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢�, Mark? I know you're some way behind the leaders, but it does seem that 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢� may be done.
I didn't see her at all. I heard you talking about her falling off, but she must have stepped off the course because I didn't see her when we went by. The chase pack has fallen way, way, way back. I'm looking at them right now. Sarah Hall, it looks a little bit fatigued on her face, but the other 3 women look pretty good to me right now, but we are way, way behind the leaders.
Well, we are trying to ascertain whether 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢� is still on the course. I think it's beginning to look like she is no longer out there. That would be a great shame because she was running so strongly. Remember, for the first 15k, she was pretty much the athlete who was at the front of the pack, doing the hard work. And
she looked good as well. She looked comfortable. So through 20k, the leaders had a gap of 1 minute and 6 seconds back to 𝐵irseki and the 3 Americans. So the leading group now down to 3. This is Korea, Judith Jeptum-Korea, the Paris winner, and the 2 Ethiopians, 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢�t and 𝐏𝐵RESELASSIE.
Well, here is that leading trio. And certainly Korea, as they go through 21k in what? About 68.50. Give or take. Mara,
Yeah.
you got the exact split?
I got about 68.50 as well. I will just update our computers. 68.49.
Okay, 68.49. And that means they're passing through halfway any second now. The half marathon, there it is, 69.01. It is still fast, way below 2:20 tempo.
So the last split to 21k was
And
3.
there is 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧𝐮𝐦. Sorry, Mara. There is the champion from 2019, Ruth 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧. She pulled out just before the 19-kilometre point, and we will try to ascertain what the problem is for the Kenyan. But that is very sad news for the reigning champion, as she is still. 2:17 in Nagoya back in March. She's had a good build up to these championships, it would seem, and looked very optimistic and aggressive in the early kilometres, Mara, which you wouldn't do if you'd been carrying any problems. You'd be tucked in behind, wouldn't you, hoping it'll stay slow.
She looked great. She looked comfortable. She didn't look like she had any problems. She did get a wild card entry. The defending champions all get a wild card entry. So it's possible, you know, they don't have to qualify. Of course, that would be no problem for 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧, but it's possible she's come with an injury. She looks like she's holding her abdomen there.
There's the splits through the half marathon. You can see 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧 and Korea in the lead. 4 seconds back to Tanui. Weldu, well, that's a big gap. 16 seconds back to their Eritrean Weldu in 5th place. That's beginning to grow. She's with Salpeta trying to work Bekele a further couple of seconds back. Then that trio of Americans with Piasecki all locked together, working together. But the gap, as you can see, is 1 minute and 16 seconds from that chasing group of the 3 Americans and the Brit through to the leader. It's a massive gap. That's the first time it's gone beyond a minute.
Yep. And looking down the field a little, Matsuda now, the Japanese, in 13th place behind Chemutai. Then the Mexican Moscote, who previously was in the chasing pack, and Zhang in 15th place of China. 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𧧻, the other Mexican, in 16th place.
Well, they're negotiating the turns south of the river, having crossed Main Street Bridge. Chasing hard, though, is Tanui in 4th place. Tough for her. She's got to try and close that gap and get back onto that trio. Give herself a chance of a medal. The chasing group, top of picture, just coming off the bridge, top of picture. They will get a little glance across at each other now. But that leading trio with the Ethiopians with their tails up, moving strongly. And 𝐏𝐵, the 2:18 performer, looking perhaps the most aggressive of the 3. That's a lovely, big, sweeping curve of that roundabout. They don't have many roundabouts in the USA. They're a common occurrence in Europe. Of course, the Arc de Triomphe, well known as a circular car park. It's an absolute nightmare to try and negotiate that part of the French capital.
So, Tim, we've got a split through 22k, 3:14 for that last kilometre. So they did 3:13 before that, 3:09 before that, 3:05. So still, the damage was done with that 3:05 and 3:19 through halfway in 69:01. So the lead group now, the 2 Ethiopians and Korea, the Kenyan.
And Tanui in the background, I think, gradually closing on them. She's only, 3 or 4 seconds down. 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𧧻 there, having a little look over her shoulder. The 3 of them ought to be working together now to try and stay clear. But if they start watching each other and building towards the latter stages, preparing themselves psychologically, then it will be a shame, because they'll allow those behind them to close up. So which of these 3 is going to be prepared to do a tola to kick on into the final circuit and go clear? You don't want to let all the hard work that you've done be wasted by easing back too much and looking around you. Korea there, just moving all over the road, perhaps thinking, well, why are we running around the outside of this bend? Let's get on the inside of it, for goodness sake. Get up against the rail. Why run extra metres?
Yeah, bits of the course do have a green line on them, Tim, which is the shortest course. And 𝐏𝐿 just missed a drink there, but she did get a sponge. Now, we've heard that 𝐏𝐥𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐧𝐮 has had stomach problems. She's not injured, but she's had some sort of stomach problems. So the defending champion is out.
Well, this is a familiar sight, isn't it? Kenyan vest, Ethiopian vest, dominating at the front end of this World Championship Marathon. We're about, we're nearly 75 minutes in, well past halfway. They've gone through the half marathon, just to reiterate that, in 69:01. It is quick. Paula Radcliffe's championship record in severe danger. There's a great chance of it being broken here today. It's lasted many, many years. Back in Helsinki 2005, 17 years ago. She was in supreme form. With 7 athletes in this field and broken 2:20 before today, we knew it was a very strong squad. 𝐏𝐵 𝐿𝐴𝐶 on the current pace, heading for something inside 2:19. Look, Paula Radcliffe's record 2:20.57. Although Radcliffe, of course, did run that 2:15 back in London 2003. Bridget Kosgei's world record in Chicago 3 years back, 2:14.04. I remember being speechless when she crossed the line in that time. And Chicago was commentating on that race, and it was something like science fiction, because Radcliffe's world record 2:15.25 had lasted for so many years. But now, of course, with the shoe technology having given the athletes quite a boost, 2:20 times come through thick, sub 2:20 times come through thick and fast. And we have 4 now, as Tanui has joined them, and 2 and 2 and 4 does not go into 3 when it comes to the dishing out of medals.
Yeah, and Tim, the last split was 3:20. They were through 23k in 75:23. So that has enabled the second Kenyan, Angela Tanui, to rejoin that group. So running through Springfield now.
Well, the chasing group, Salpeta and Weldu, 25 seconds down. Bekele, another 11 seconds back. And there's that chasing group of the 3 Americans and Piasecki of Great Britain.
Yeah, looked in that shot just now, Tim, like Emma Bates was just a second or so adrift of that group. But meanwhile, up at the front, it's 2 Kenyans and 2 Ethiopians.
Well, almost a lap and a half to run in this World Championship Marathon. 𝐏𝐵 𝐿𝐴𝐶 and 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿 for Ethiopia. The pairing against 𝐿𝐴𝐻 and Tanui. It could be a doubles tennis match. And at the moment, it's 1 set all. 𝐿𝐴𝐻, the taller of the quartet by a couple of inches. And they are, I sense, just watching each other a little bit. Nobody's really attacking this and pushing on, and that's why that last kilometre was as slow as a 3:20. But now, 𝐏𝐵 𝐿𝐴𝐶 may be beginning to turn over a little bit quicker. She was World Youth Champion at 3,000 metres 11 years ago. She has track pedigree from many years back. She's also been an African Championships bronze medalist back in 2012, 10 years ago. Got it on 𝐏𝐵 𝐿𝐴𝐶. Ran a really good half marathon in Portugal earlier on this year, 67 minutes. And, 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿, well, she's a 64-minute half marathon runner. I mean, that is in a different class to 67-minute half marathon running. I wonder if that would become significant. To the right of picture, the fastest of all of them over the half marathon is 𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿. Ironically, though, she's the one that hasn't broken 220 yet. 220 in Chicago back in 2019. Second in Boston this year in 221. So has the right temperament for those major championships. They made the climb up over I-5, now the downslope for them. And actually from this point onwards, towards